Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the afternoon. Joining me today, it is Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. I got to work with Philly's #1 football writer and now hockey writer today. What an awesome day. What's going on today, Chuck? How was your holiday?
It was busy. I worked basically the entire time.
4th of July.
It wasn't a holiday.
4th of July means, of course, right after the draft, it's development camp.
Yep.
They get them in right away, and we will have a full report of everything Chuck saw down at the, it's not the skate zone anymore, the Flyers Training Center, the FTC. Over the weekend, the scrimmage was Sunday, and they had development camp the whole week. So we will talk about that in just a bit, but we got to get to, well, it's no longer breaking news. It came out at like 8:30 this morning probably.
Yeah, a little before 9.
Yeah, Cam York signed an extension today, and I just came in assuming it was going to be a bridge deal. Danny goes long-term. Danny goes 5 years at a little over $5 million average annual value.
Would you call 5 years a long-term deal? It's longer. I feel like 6, 7, 8 is what I consider to be truly long.
I think
this is like medium range for me.
Medium, I get it, but in 2 years, the longest deal you can get on the open market is going to be 6.
Yeah,
fair. They go 5, whatever you want to call it, takes them up till age 29. 5 years, a little over $5 million average annual value, comes in under the evolving hockey projections. My immediate takeaway was, you all know I'm not the biggest Cam York fan. I'm not like rah-rah Cam York. I think he's good. I think there's a lot of room to improve, but my thing with defensemen is if you don't score and you're not physical, what exactly are you doing? But at this number, it's hard to complain. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's not my particular cup of tea. But I got to give Danny credit. I appreciate this contract a lot. I think he did a really good job.
I think to get him in the low 5s on a 5-year term is really good business. The contract that Evolving Hockey projected for him, most likely to be his contract, was 3 years, $5.068 million.
So basically, this number for 2 fewer years.
For 2 fewer years. They projected that if he got 5 years, it was going to be closer to 5.7. Basically, Briere got him at a fair cap hit for a 3-year term and got 2 more years added onto the back. It's a good piece of business by Briere. Now, this takes York to age 29, so it takes him basically through the end of his prime. But it's a value deal. There's no trade protection in the deal at all, so he can be moved to anyone. And it also keeps the cap hit low enough that I imagine a guy who's regularly getting 20 minutes a night will be viewed as a fair cap hit for any team to add if the Flyers ever look to trade Cam York. But in the here and now, it's a value deal. I think York is worth more than what he got. Now, because he's an RFA, obviously the Flyers have more leverage. That's how you get guys on below market value deals, below value in terms of what they add on the ice. But I'd say even right now, if York is just this is a fair deal. If York takes a step, then it could be a great deal. And I think it's more likely than you do that he takes a step.
I think it's more likely than it was a few months ago, simply because the bad man's gone.
Right.
And I would like to thank John Tortorella for perhaps suppressing Cam York's value a little bit. It was a Flyers Nation put out a tweet that made me laugh. John Tortorella deserves some sort of credit for that contract extension. He tried his best to destroy Cam York's value. I don't know if he actually tried, but it doesn't sound as if they were all that close at the very end.
They might have been. They might have been close in proximity.
They may have been nose to nose, but the relationship doesn't seem to have been great, and that may have
wasn't very good.
That may have led to some of the York usage not on the power play and benching him sometimes. And
Tortorella liked
perhaps just using him not in a situation that was going to benefit his financial future.
Tortorella liked to use the power play as a reward or a punishment. You're not on the power play because you're not doing what I want you to do. You are on the power play because you are doing what I want you to do. Cam York was rarely last season doing what John Tortorella had in his head that he wanted Cam York to do. Yeah. So he was not going to get power play time. York was frustrated with that because, look, I don't think Cam York is an elite power play one type of player. but I think he's fine on a power play too. And I would be intrigued this year to see him with zegras, because obviously they have extensive experience together on power plays, both of the U.S. National Team Development Program and on the Team USA at World Juniors. They played together on the same power play. I'd like to see if they can rekindle some of that chemistry. So I would expect York's counting statistics, goals, assists, points to improve. That said, he only had 17 points in 66 games this past year. It would be hard for him not to do better than
like if he doubles
points.
that, it was like, oh, that was
yeah, because he had 30 points the previous year in 82 games, 10 goals, 20 assists. I would expect something similar to that, maybe fewer goals, but maybe more assists. And around that, 30 to 35 point range. I think that is a reasonable expectation for York's production. And if he gets that, this cap hit looks even better.
No, absolutely. I have, like, every contract Danny has signed, I've had little, I don't know, maybe that's a little long on Tippett. Maybe that's a little too much for Nick Seal or whatever. I have very few complaints about this, and I do think Cam York has more than he has shown thus far. I don't know what his ceiling is, but he's still pretty young. He's still about to entering the prime of his career, and the team's going to have better pieces around him for him to be able to work with, and maybe he does find himself on a power play unit. You said I don't think he's a power play one, that surefire guy, but also, who is?
Yeah, well, michkov.
No, I just for the defense on this team.
Defense, yeah.
Like, who
Drysdale's the other option.
Jamie Drysdale's an option. But Rasmus Ristolainen was doing it last year.
Yeah, not very well.
It's not as if they have
Igor
someone.
Zamula was doing it. I would say what they should do next year with the power play is, assuming that this is the group, that Emil Andre doesn't make the team, basically let Drysdale and York battle it out for that spot on power play one, give them both chances, see who looks better, because they both have the upside. Obviously, I think you're hoping Drysdale seizes that role, because
that's kind of his thing.
His upside is plausibly higher. Also, he doesn't bring as much defensive acumen to the table as opposed to York, who does. I think he is genuinely good defensively, whereas Drysdale really isn't. I don't think they expect him to be. But if York is better than Drysdale, then give him the spot.
Yeah, it's going to be like Drysdale is going to have to score, whether it's at 5-on-5 or the power play, whereas York, you can get by with what he gives you defensively and not go, he's killing us. I know I think that way, but I think the team, when team building, goes, well, we can find offense from the defense elsewhere. You're always able to go out and get an Eric Gustafsson, a Shane Gostisbehere. Like, those dudes are always available to put on your third pair, but York plays top 4 minutes, even for a coach that didn't particularly like him that much. He was playing those minutes, and that's without any power play time.
Yeah.
So
47 minutes a night last year, the year before, 22-37.
Yeah, he was over 22 the year before, and those are guys get paid for the minutes. We compared it to the innings eaters last week, and that's Cam York at his very least can take the workload and give you pretty decent results. So I have very little to complain about with this contract. I'm going to be honest. And that's not something if they went more than a bridge deal with York, I thought I was going to hate it. I thought it was going to be 6s. I remember when the conversations first started, it was like, oh, he's asking for 7. Like, well, that's his right.
Yeah.
But if Danny doesn't win that negotiation, that's a real problem, because he has nothing on his resume that's like, oh, he's a $7 million defenseman.
It would just be the minutes.
Yes,
just
that's
it. I mean, Ivan Provorov turned just the minutes into $8.5 million a year.
He did, and that's UFA, so it's a little different. Sure. But he has scored a little in his career. He had that one year with like 17 goals. He was just firing the puck and it was going in, like bouncing off the boards and hitting the goalie.
Yeah,
and
he got a lot of puck luck that year.
Yeah,
I like Cam York. I know there are a lot of people who don't. Cam York is a guy who underlying numbers genuinely somewhere between good and very good. He drives play. Number 2, I'm not as into points for defensemen.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't matter that much to me. Obviously, you have to score a little bit, and I want you to be doing a good job breaking the puck out and adding some, elements to the attack. I don't want you just be standing there watching the other 4 guys do all the work. But I don't really care whether a guy has 25 points versus 40 points. It doesn't matter that much to me. If the 25-point guy is driving play and the 40-point guy isn't, I'll take the 25-point guy all day, every day.
Yeah.
Number 3, I like his style. I do. Like, I think there are a lot of people who, number one, are negatively predisposed towards smallish defensemen. I am not. Number two, want all the defensemen to hit all the time. Cam York is not a hitter, but I don't think Cam York is soft. I think Cam York he's good in the corners. He battles. He's got a high compete level, in my opinion. He just isn't big enough to be throwing big hits.
Yes.
So I personally don't understand where the dislike from a lot of people towards Cam York comes from. I don't get it because I don't share it.
Chuck Fletcher.
Oh, it's the Caulfield crap. Okay.
It's really, it's just people who, and I definitely fall into this bucket, just are negatively predisposed to the previous regime and honestly regimes. I'm just a little bit on these guys. Like, you know what? If you had done a good job, you'd still be here. But that is one of the things that gives me a little optimism about this deal and Cam York's future as a Philadelphia Flyer, because this deal signifies two things. One, Cam York really wants to be here. I don't think it was a pressing need. Like, if I'm him, I don't know if I want to go 5 years. If you can hit the UFA market at 27 in this constantly rising cap world, I don't know if I want to lock myself in to it's just $5 million, but it's always funny to say I would do anything for $5 million. But he doesn't live in my world. He's a professional athlete. Like, I feel as if there is something more to Cam York, he would be worth considerably more than this for the prime of his career. And like, the cap is going up. Numbers are just going to go up along with it. So this signifies to me he still wants to be here, and that's huge. You need buy-in. And listen, Tortorella's gone, and that was probably the main area of contention. But we talked, Danny seemed content to just they all hate him, I know, but whatever. And then it became Danny's problem. And that's probably when it really hit the fan.
Exactly.
And
so I don't mind if he was making everybody else's life miserable.
Them miserable.
But once you're making my life miserable.
Oh, so this is my problem now? You're fired. Like, as simple as that. Like, if I'm the player, I go, well, yeah, he's gone, but you did subject me to him for 3 years.
Fair point.
But it seems as if, okay, all's forgiven. He wants to be here, and that is very important. And Danny Briere thinks there's more there with him, and I think that's just as big. Zach Berman and I did the Gargano show this morning, and he actually made this point when we talked about it. He talked about, like, Chip, when Howie took back over, his first order of business was getting rid of all Chip's guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, you're all gone. Yeah. And then, like,
I didn't want any.
And then extending, like, Vinnie Curry and Fletcher Cox and, like, his own guys from when he was previously there.
Right.
But, like, Danny came in, and whether it was from the Hextall regime, like, he traded Provorov. He did try to trade Sanheim, but that guy was already extended, and then the no trade kicked in.
Yeah.
Kind of worked out.
Worked out very well.
And Farabee and Frost and everyone he got rid of was the previous regime just kind of moving on. Those old guys we thought we would be part of the core, well, guess what? You aren't. He's decided to commit, at least medium term, as you put it, to Cam York. And I think that must mean something, that he sees something there. If I'm going to trust Danny, I trust that you think he's worth a 5-year deal.
And it's notable that they gave him term after he had the blow up with Torts. Because look, I'm not saying that Danny Briere didn't empathize to a degree with York finally losing his cool on Torts. I'm sure there is enough self-awareness on Briere's part to be like, yeah, I get it. I get why you did it. That said, objectively speaking, it's not the best look for a player to blow up so much on a coach that he then has to be essentially benched for a game sitting on the bench.
After that coach goes,
yes,
the now interim is like, yeah, John was wrong, but you can't do that. Yeah. Like, even after he's fired, you had to sit.
Like, I could easily see a world where, yes, Torts gets fired, but then they decided, okay, well, we got to get rid of Torts, but we also got to get rid of you because, like, what you did wasn't good, and we need to set the precedent. You don't do that. The fact that they were like, okay, you got punished, but now it's over, and now we're giving you a 5-year deal, that tells you that, number one, whatever he did wasn't that bad, but number two, and this is more important, they might say, yeah, we didn't love that, but we like what you bring to the table so much that we're willing to, set it aside.
It's like, oh, yeah, competitive guy, all that stuff you hear once they say they like him. And no, I do think that, they could have easily just washed their hands of the situation.
Been like, buy Torts, buy Cam.
Like, oh, Cam, we got whatever sort of draft capital or another prospect or a 2C or whatever for you. See it. And just be done with the whole thing. But they actually decided to keep him around for 5 more years. So, okay, cool. Now you're just... Let's see how much better you can be, Cam. I'm looking forward to that part.
So there's a couple
things.
Interesting. Yeah, I want to talk about the age thing, and I want to go into the cap situation. But the age thing is interesting because we know, and Danny Briere straight up said this, both on and off the record, that they don't love it when deals expire in that like 29, 30, 31 age range because they're afraid that the next deal will be a bad deal because they'll have to give them 6, 7 years, I guess now, because that's what it'll be with the new CBA.
And like they're still at the age where they're good,
right?
So you have to keep
because
them.
You need to stay good. You need to keep your important player. It's interesting that this York deal will expire with him 29 going on 30, which is their danger zone in terms of extension. Now, does that tell you that we like Cam York, we like him enough to give him 5 years? But maybe we don't like him so much that we see him as a potential guy who's going to be around for another contract after this one. That maybe they're viewing him as a guy who we like, but not so much that we're worried about what the next contract. Like, I think they were very much thinking that way with Forster because they see Forster as a guy who's going to be here for a long time. Maybe with York, they're like, this is a good AAV deal, and we will have him for 5 years, and then we will probably wave goodbye to him unless he takes a massive step. But maybe we don't necessarily think he's going to take a massive step, so we feel good about locking him in at this price. That's kind of more the way I'm thinking they were thinking about this, being like, we like Cam York, we don't love him, so let's get him for the rest of his prime years, and then if we have to say goodbye to him, hopefully we have other guys in the pipeline who are ready to replace him who are just as good, if not better.
So that's the other interesting thing, like the idea that Danny doesn't like it, and it's like, well, what does that mean?
Right.
Is it... Oh, well, yeah, and then at 29, or, okay, we have you for now. We have you for now, your best years, and then we'll see.
And I talked about the fact that it is a tradable contract.
And that it is movable. Again, he couldn't have had the trade protection until he's 27, so he couldn't have kicked it into the last 2 years.
But he could have got it the last
But he could have gotten it. We see that happen all the time. But there are none, and with the cap going up, this is a movable deal.
Yes.
Like, unless he just flat out stinks, or like goes on LTIR, never comes back, this is a movable contract.
Teams will want a mobile guy who can take big minutes and not get killed in them. So there's that. Want to talk about the cap situation as well, but did you have something else you wanted to add there?
What it means for their contention timeline real quick, and then we'll hit the ad break. Like, do you think, okay, so we have you for this time period, and we talked about how they give Dvorak that contract, and it's just, we just need you for right now, and we'll pay you whatever, because we just trying to be a little better. Do you think this is them going, these 5 years we're going to try to have, even if you end up being like our 4th defenseman, we are going to be going for it, or we don't have anyone else, so we kind of need you, so we need you to lock you up? How do you think they see him as he fits into the blue line of the future?
Well, I think that it's clear they're not expecting to compete next year. Then 2026 is supposed to be the big pivot offseason. I think they're looking at it as the final couple years of the deal. They are going to try to be a, if not cup contender, at least a playoff team. And I think the 5-year term does fit with that. Now, it doesn't necessarily fit with like when Matvei Michkov and Porter Martone are, 25, 26, 27 years old, and then you're supposedly like really going for it.
Yeah.
But I do think that 3, 4, 5 years down the road, the Flyers think that this could be a good value deal that will help them be a playoff team. Yes.
All right. And with that, let's take our first commercial break. If you're looking for a Jeep or Ram truck, there's only one dealership in South Jersey who has been the market leader since 1967. And it's my friends at Cherry Hill Jeep. They've got you covered on the best selection, but more importantly, the best prices. I know we're well into July now, but they're still celebrating Memorial Day savings into this month, so you can slide into a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Not only is it the most awarded SUV ever, it was also named Motor Week's best midsize utility vehicle for the past 2 years in a row. That's in addition to being a 2024 IIHS top safety pick. Or you can pull away in the most luxurious and functional pickup truck on the market today, the 2025 Ram 1500, which just received the most coveted award in the pickup truck industry, 2025 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. So stop in today and tell them PHLY sent you and receive an additional $1,000 for your trade-in. I know people buy Jeeps and Ram trucks elsewhere. I just don't know why. Drive home in your new Jeep or Ram truck today. Just minutes from all bridges are available online 24/7 at cherryhilljeep.com. Charlie, I walked into my garage yesterday and it was a sauna in there.
Yeah, this Philly heat, especially now, it's no joke.
This humidity is here. So what I ended up doing, I got like 20 bags of ice. I went into my backyard, filled a baby pool with them. Nice little inflatable I have back there. Did a little cold plunge.
Why didn't you just turn on your air conditioner?
I'm trying to be energy efficient. I hear the cold plunges are good for you. You seem like a cold plunge kind of guy. And I'm trying to save a little bit of cash as well.
Okay, well, instead of filling up a baby pool, and I don't believe you have any children, William, but instead of filling up a baby pool that you don't yet need, you could just check out Pico's energy saving rebates. They've got deals on Energy Star cooling equipment that actually work and cut your bills.
So no more ice?
It's the summer. Flyers aren't playing. They've already melted all the ice in the rink.
Yeah, that seems like what's up. I'm going to have to check this out. It seems like the way to go, Charlie. Thank you.
So just head to pico.com/ways to save. They've got tips for everything: heating, cooling, lighting, you name it.
All right, so the last bit of this as we wrap up the Cam York conversation is cap space available, where they are in terms of the salary cap, and they still have some, and that is still with Ryan Ellis on the books and not on LTIR.
Yeah, let's pull up the old chart so we can take a look at it. This will be in my article that I write later today on the Cam York signing extension. But I have the Flyers at about $1.445 million worth of cap space. This is assuming that Ivan Fedotov is buried down to the minors, which he's going to be. Can't imagine he's not. It's also keeping Ryan Ellis on the books fully. They're not using LTIR, but they do have options now if both Tyson Forrester and Rasmus Ristolainen aren't ready for the start of the season, which seems very possible. I've got Rodrigo Abels as a scratch. I've got Alex Bump on the third line. We'll talk about him in a few minutes.
Oh, yes, we will.
But we could slide, Abels. We could slide Porter Martone. We could slide, Nikita Gurbankin into that open spot if Tyson Forrester ultimately is not available. And then with Risto, I have Noah Juleson sitting there. So Flyers are in pretty good shape. They, if Forrester and Risto both can't, then you would probably, if you don't want to tap into LTIR, you'd probably have to go with 12, 6, and 2 to start the year because you don't really have the money necessarily. You have the money to maybe call up one more guy.
Yeah.
But if both those guys aren't available, they would have to go with a little bit of a bare bones roster. The hope would be that both those guys would be back relatively soon, especially Risto. I think the hope is he might miss camp, and then do we want to throw him back in? But he would be hopefully back, within the first month of the year. Forrester, all bets are off with how long he might be out for. He might not miss any time at all. I guess we'll see. But the Flyers are in a pretty good cap spot, and if they really need to, they could put Ellis on LTIR. I just know they don't want to. They would rather not. They'd rather not get into the LTIR world.
Yeah,
but they could. So if they need to be cap compliant, they can be. But yeah, that's the cap situation. Getting York at around $5 million versus 6.5 or whatever really does open up flexibility.
No, it does, and that's one of the things I like about this deal is it's not prohibitive in really any way. So it's this year and one more for Ryan Ellis that we have to be dealing with this.
Yeah.
Situation.
But you would think that when they decide to turn the corner, then they'll tap at LTIR.
Why
right?
do it now when you don't have to?
Exactly. Given the fact that they're talking about how next summer is going to be the big summer, because they lose the Hayes, they lose Atkinson. I would think also part of that is we'll tap an LTI for 1 year with Ellis,
just one time.
Yeah,
and also Ryan Johansson still unresolved, but maybe it never will be.
It'll
knows?
be resolved at some point, but
Maybe.
it's so not a primary focus of mine.
No, I know it's not a primary focus of yours.
The reason why it annoys me has nothing to do with Ryan Johansson. It has to do with the fact where it's like I'm juggling like 5 things at once every day, and then like the one thing people could throw at me is, well, what's to do with Ryan Johansson? Like, I don't freaking care.
You know we're gonna get at least 2 super chats about
I don't
that now.
care. They'll figure it out.
I know they'll figure it out. It's just like I know what's gonna happen. They're gonna get hit with $4 million of dead cap in the year that they're opening up the books. That's what's. But at least the salary cap's gonna be like $100 million at that point. So who cares? So that's the cap situation. They have a little bit left. They're at 13 forward, 7D. We'll see how the injury things work out, but feels like they're done, right? Like this is kind of.
Well, I mean, they can be done. We'll see if they do more. Maybe they could do a trade. Maybe they could do an offer sheet. They have the flexibility, if they wanted to use LTIR, if they want to add another guy, or if they want to make a roster player trade, they could certainly do that. But they could be done. There is nothing else aside from, I would guess, officially announcing the John Snowden hire to be AHL head coach. There's really nothing else that is on their have-to-do list the rest of the season.
No, it feels like the pressing business of the offseason has been taken care of. You've shored up your center depth. You've added the goaltender. Cam York taken care of. All the RFAs. Everything is signed. That's it. I feel like, maybe there's some business, but here...
Got to rate these last couple articles,
here
and then
we
I
are.
can chill.
Yeah, no, Charlie, it's really... We're getting close to Tuesday Reviews days. That's all I'll say.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'll say.
I can take some time off.
It's coming up. All right, and now it's development camp time. Charlie,
this is the fun stuff. I wanted to do the entire show on development camp.
And then of course they broke some news.
Yeah,
but we have the whole week. Development camp. It was this past week. They wrapped it up with their scrimmage yesterday. What just overall experience of development camp? Because you love this stuff. This is the stuff you enjoy.
Yeah, I really want to write my article and break down all the players, but now I have to write a Cam York article before I do that, because of course I do. So hopefully the development camp article, I'll get that out by sometime tomorrow.
Yeah.
But when I get home today, I'm going to have to write about Cam York. Frustrating, but whatever. It'll be ready, and it'll be great, because it always is the most in-depth article on development camp that you're going to get anywhere, with videos, with analysis, with quotes, with everything. You'll get there. But development
camp,
for the
illiterate amongst us like me, well, we're going to talk about it.
Development camp was development camp.
Yeah.
It was development camp. There was nothing that was especially unique about it, aside from the fact that there were a lot of good prospects at this camp. And that was even accounting for the fact that none of Oliver Bonk, Denver Barkey, or Jet Luchenko skated at all.
3 of the 5 top prospects in the organization.
Yeah, I mean, Barkey, there. I think Barkey, it depends on your view. Like, some people might have him in their top 5. Some people might have him like down at 13 if they just don't think a 5'8" dude is going to be able to cut it.
Yeah, he's going to be one of those like Strome. Like, he's going to have to prove to me he can't be just based on the production. Like, I'm going to have to find out. But he was not on the ice. Who was, though, someone with a ton of hype. It seems that he's been hyped since he signed, since he won the national championship. But I think we got to start with Bumpy Knuckles, Alex Bump.
We got to talk about Alex Bump. He was, and I said this on Twitter. I say this every development camp. People always get weird about it. But at every development camp, there is one guy who looks too good for the camp. Invariably, every year. There were years where it was Ivan Provorov, where it was Travis Konechny. Like, there's always that one dude who is just like, oh yeah, he's the best guy here. He's the alpha. It was Alex Bump this year. Not even close.
And it makes sense. Like, he's been playing against men. He's polished. It makes a ton of sense that he's that good. We thought he could have played in the NHL at the end of last season. He elected to go to the AHL. Was pretty damn good there. And now it feels as if momentum is on his side. He's going to have to fight the coach or get hurt in training camp not to make the team right now, just based on his trajectory of how good he actually is. He seems like an NHL player.
And they really like him. That's the big thing.
Too, yeah.
Brent Flair's quote at the end of camp, I think Bump's put himself in position, regardless of Forrester's injury, where he's going to be competing for a job. There are spots available. If Forrester can't play, there's 2 spots available in the top 9. If Forrester is ready, there's still 1. Because that was the Shabanov spot that is not going to be filled by Maxim Shabanov because he's going to be on the New York Islanders. I think Bump is going to make this team, and I think he showed at development camp why. This is a really, really talented guy. Now, I don't think he's going to be a star by any means, but he looks ready. One thing that I thought was interesting, we're going to show some videos from camp.
Ooh.
So we got videos for you. But to start out both tournaments over the weekend, first we're going to show you the first goal of the 3-on-3 tournament that Alex Bump scored. Just nice little,
just a little,
nice little breakaway goal from Alex Bump, and then to kick off the 5-on-5 scrimmage on Sunday, he also scored the first goal off a nice pass from Ty Murchison.
Nice drive there.
Yeah, nice little center lane drive, solid play there. So Alex Bump in both was a very impressive player. I would say one of the best in both, arguably the best in both. You could certainly make the case. He scored another goal later in the 5-on-5 scrimmage, and nearly had a hat trick on a couple of occasions. The one thing about him that really stands out, he had the best shot at camp. He can beat goalies clean. Now, there were some other guys we'll get into a little bit later who I think also can really shoot the puck, but Alex Bump is a finisher. He's a shooter and he's a finisher.
That's just watching like that nice, it seems so simple. Just a little backhand, forehand, chip in on that breakaway in the 3-on-3 goal. Like the smoothness and the confidence, that was never not going in.
Yeah.
And just, it's not even it's not a fancy move, but it froze the goalie, and that's all you have to do. It seems like he has that part of the game, at least for where he is in his development. That is a very strong aspect of his game, and the willingness to mix it up is also what I think is going to bode well for him.
Also, I want to point this out because I saw this a lot this weekend. I'm seeing it in the chat, and it's an annoying thing when people are like, well, yeah, but what goalies was he scoring? I'm like, look, I'm sorry. No, did the Flyers have amazing goalies at development camp? Not really. Carson Bjarnason was the only big name guy. Then it was a bunch of camp invites. But guess what? They're all better than anybody you've faced in your life.
And if they had their NHL goalies in there, what goalies did he score on? There's no way to know. There's no way to judge these players against any of the goaltenders in the organization. Zafragan's in Russia. We can't get him over
But I
here.
had a lot of people in my comments on Twitter being like, well, what goalies did he score? I'm like, first off, we're not going to show you videos of them getting stopped. We're going to show you videos of them scoring, and you can evaluate them relative to the other prospects at camp who were not scoring nearly as much as Alex Bump was.
The other guys weren't putting the puck in. It's not as if everyone had 3 goals in 2 days. That's the other part, So it's when you had the one tweet about, I think it was Bump scoring from distance, just not being there. The first thought in my head was, against who?
Right.
But then when you see, and that's in drills and stuff you were talking about, it was just he had a shot working that day and he was scoring from distance. And then when you see he's got a variety of ways to score, it's okay, maybe he doesn't do it at the NHL, but for this point in his evaluation, he's good at this.
Yeah, and one thing, too, it's very interesting about Bump, and you're going to see this, especially if he makes the NHL. It's intriguing, and it's exciting, but it's also I wonder how long he's going to be able to keep this up. He loves to carry the puck into the slot. Not just get to the slot and wait for a pass. He likes to lug the puck into the slot and then try to take a shot. He was doing it constantly at development camp. From what I understand, he did it a lot in the AHL when he was there. It's cool because it shows that he plays with no fear.
Good luck.
He's going to get lit up a few times at the NHL level if he keeps doing it as often as he did it at camp and in the AHL at the end of last season.
Yeah, that's you're going to have to keep that head up. The Siplikov hit on Ryan Poehling. Even if your head is up, there's any angle they can hit you from that is dangerous, even if it's more a cleaner hit than the Siplikov one. So I like that he's trying it, though.
Yeah,
that's great.
I like what it says about his mentality. I like that he's very much not playing a perimeter game, and he is not just not playing a perimeter game. He's actively trying to play an interior game, even though he doesn't necessarily have, the frame to maybe do it as much as he does. But I love the mentality. I also I really do like this. the details of his game are pretty strong. And I want to show this one clip because it's a good defensive play, and then it's a really good zone entry. Because one thing you have to do, so here's the play. So there's Bump. He's wearing the white jersey. He steals the puck. Now look at how many people are around him, and he still finds a way to successfully get the puck into the offensive zone. Controlled entry, doesn't dump it in. I like the confidence in his ability to do it in traffic, where there are a lot of guys around him, and the skill to be able to keep the puck away from everybody. Like that's a pro NHL level play. In that's a play that a lot of pros can't make.
And we'll do the super chats when we normally do them, but I just saw something about his swagger, and like there is the attitude you carry yourself with, but also the way you play the game. This kid thinks he's really good.
Yeah.
Like, and so far so good for him.
He has a lot of confidence.
He carries himself. The things he tries out there are the things really good players try.
Yeah, and I'm working on a feature on Bump. It may not come out until closer to camp.
Yeah,
because I want to really have it all good to go. But I did a one-on-one with him at camp, and he's a confident kid, to be sure.
So they have whether Forster's out or not, they have one or two spots. You think it's actually that spot's already taken by Alex Bump, or at least penciled in? Someone's going to have to kill him.
I think it's written in pencil, not pen.
Yes.
But I think his name is written.
Like the way Forster was there, and it was, well, we really want Forster, so we have to bring Brink because he was so much better. Yeah. Like someone's going to have to beat Alex Bump for the job. And
also you look at it. I mean, he's a natural left wing.
They're
pretty weak on the left side, especially with Forster potentially missing the start of the year. He would give them a natural left wing, functionally replacing Joel Farabee.
All right, a player. The next one we're going to talk about, who I would also absolutely love to see to make this team, this year's 6th overall pick, Porter Martone. What's your overall grade for? Did he look like, okay, Bump is out here, and Bump's way further along in his development than Martone, but Martone has the ceiling of a star winger.
Sure.
So did you get the impression he's better than everyone out here?
I would say that Martone was okay. He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. There were a lot of things about his play at development camp that I liked. Top of the list, his passing. That pops.
Interesting.
The passing, more than anything else, is what pops. He has this ability. He had it in juniors. We talked about it in the lead up to the draft. He has this ability to just know where everybody is on the ice, all of his teammates. And when he gets a puck, he's ready to make a pass to an open guy. We have a video of the 3-on-3 that kind of shows it, where he's going to be closer to the video. So he's going to get the puck right here, and he immediately finds him
on the
far side. Guy doesn't receive it very well, but that's not really on Martone. That pass is there, and that is he knew before he got the puck where that guy was. He was making these kinds of passes all throughout development camp whenever they were in these sorts of things. If there's an open guy in and around the slot area, he's going to find him. He's going to find him quick.
You see him see it when the puck is still up high.
Yep.
He is already spotted. Oh, that guy's going to come free on the far side.
Yep.
And he gets it over there. That is wild. Like, I also want the power forward aspect, the scoring around the net, the hands, all of that. Last year, especially the first couple, 2 months of the season, it seemed so many times Matvei Michkov he didn't have a playmate. He didn't have a guy who saw it. Couturier thinks the game at a very high level, and that's why they ultimately kind of worked, but it's different. They see the same thing differently, but they both see it at such a high level. That right there, when you explain it, it's that guy not receiving it well. That's what the first 2 months of the season looked like for Matvei Michkov.
Not wrong.
Oh my God, you got this over to me? How? And those two together is an exciting proposition. A long way to go in his development still, but I mean, 6th overall pick, he's going to be here sooner than later.
Yeah. And the other thing that I liked a lot about Martone, I mean, and I was of the opinion that I didn't think Martone's skating was terrible, but I think that was something that got said enough that people maybe started to believe it. He looked fine. From a skating standpoint, he looked fine. You had Riley Armstrong made an interesting point after one of the days. He said, I think his first 3 steps when he comes out of the block is probably elite. So he likes the acceleration, which helps him in small areas, on the cycle, winning battles, winning puck races, things like that. But honestly, he looked to me like a league average skater. at this camp. Now, maybe slightly below because you're obviously comparing him to other guys who are prospects, not other NHLers. But I'm going to show a clip here where he's back on his horse trying to defend a transition. And he's the guy in black, and he deflects this pass. That's Alex Chiernik, okay, who is the guy trying to beat everyone down the ice. He is one of the fastest guys.
He is super fast.
That is his thing. His thing is speed.
Yeah.
And Martone does a good job keeping up with him and breaking up that play. Now, is Chiernik a little bit faster than him? Sure. But Martone wasn't getting blasted. I mean, this was him skating at full speed to try to break up a play, and he hangs with Alex Chiernik. That was one of those moments where I'm like, yeah, the skating probably not as big of a deal as some people might think it is.
And that's when you see, like, okay, yeah, those first 3 steps, that might be elite. Okay, he's not the fastest skater, but if he does need to bust his ass and get somewhere from point A to point B to break up a play like that, he has that. He at least has another gear that will allow him to keep up. And like I've said all along, I'm seeing him as a small area game player. He's going to win battles. He's going to use his hockey sense. He's going to use his playmaking. I don't need him scoring 8 breakaway goals a year.
Yeah,
like,
he won't be.
That's not the game I need him to play. We have plenty of guys who are going to score the breakaway. Jet Luchenko, Owen Tippett are plenty fast enough. We need these other guys as well, and I think I'm just very excited about.
We got a little bit more about Martone to come, but let's do the ad break.
Yeah, let me hit this second ad break, and then we'll finish up on Martone. 1-800-588-2300 Empire. Empire Today, I've been telling you for over a year now, they are the place to get your new flooring, and it's for one very simple reason. They have the flooring experts. It's not like going into a big box store where if you can even find someone to talk to, you quickly realize you know more about this than the person selling you the flooring and all the hardware to do the project. No, at Empire Today, they're with you every step of the way. They live and breathe flooring, and they do something no big box store can do. They bring the showroom right to your home so you can pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space, in your space. See how it all looks with your furniture, up against the paint in your house and all that. And they take the precise measurements for you and have all your questions answered so there are never any surprises. Plus, you can schedule as soon as the next day. It's that simple. So schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. And PHLY listeners, listen up because you're going to receive a $350 discount when using promo code PHLY. You heard that right. $350 off with code PHLY. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/PHLY for full details. Now I got to tell you about Golden Nugget Jewelry. That's right, because for the past 30 years, Golden Nugget has operated out of the same location in the heart of Philadelphia, down on the corner of 8th and Chestnut. They've been family-owned since 1987, and that's why customers from across PA, New Jersey, even as far as Baltimore and NYC, come to Golden Nugget Jewelers because they know they can trust Golden Nugget, and that's all you're looking for. When you are on the ring hunt, when you're getting ready to make one of the most important purchases of your life, you need to know you're not getting ripped off. You need to know you're getting an awesome ring at a great price, and that's what Golden Nugget does for you. And when you get that engagement ring, you'll receive a final cleaning and written appraisal with purchase. So you deserve an expert and the best price. Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. Visit goldennuggetjewelry.com today to learn more. All right, a little more here on Porter Martone.
Yeah, because I want to talk about the negatives.
Yeah.
Number one, and John LeClair, he did an interview with Kevin Kurz and talked about how great Martone's shot is, that he's a better shooter than him. He did not show it at this camp. Martone did not score much at all, even in drills. It seems like, and I noticed this, honestly, when I was doing my scouting of Martone. I was like, given the amount of goals he scores, his shot isn't as good as you think it would be. And it didn't look that good at this camp. He struggled to finish on his chances. He didn't score in the 3-on-3 or the 5-on-5. He just didn't make as much of an offensive impact, aside from the passing, which was very good. He didn't make as much of an offensive impact as you were hoping someone who is going to, or in his own mind, he wants to be on the NHL team this year. He didn't impact the game on the score sheet as much as you would want, and he does need to play faster. He does need to play faster, needs to make decisions faster. He was trying a lot of high difficulty moves with the puck, a lot of dangles, a lot of nice maneuvers. He attempted a Michigan one time, but he didn't complete a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it seems like the ambition is there, and I love it, but it just seems like he was struggling a little bit to do the things that come easy to him in juniors.
All right. And do we know what route he's going to take? If he's going to make a push for the NHL club, that means he has to be at NHL camp. He can't do that if he signs a contract. He can't go to college if he signs a contract, right?
So here's the deal. He definitely can't go to college if he signs a contract. There is a world where he could try to do both, where he could not sign a contract, go to camp, give it his shot to make the team, and then if he doesn't make the team, then
late enroll.
Late enroll. Yeah. Once he signs a contract, though, he can't go.
Yeah.
And obviously, if he was going to make the NHL club, he would have to sign a contract to play in a game, in an actual game, not an exhibition game, but an actual game. So there is a world where he could try to do both, but let me put it this way. Coming out of this camp, I did not see a guy who screams, I'm ready to bang the door down. Now, he might be much better at main camp. Brent Flair did note that he thought he might be a little tired after everything that's gone on over the last few weeks with preparing for the draft and then the draft itself and then coming over here, that maybe he was just a little gassed. But I wonder if the Flyers' preference, especially after this camp, is do the 1 year in college, have the increased level of competition, because he's clearly too good for the OHL. I'd rather him not go back to juniors. I mean, he would put up insane numbers, I'm sure, and that would be fun. But I don't know how much it would actually help his development to dominate a league he's already dominated. Whereas college hockey, you know,
that's men.
That's an upgrade in quality competition that might actually serve his development for 1 year. But he wants to go to the NHL, so it'll be interesting to see how they work it. I just worry that if he tries to make the team out of camp, he's not going to be able to do it. If he plays the way he did at this development camp, he's not going to make the team. And if he doesn't make the team, then he's probably going back to juniors. And I'd rather him not be back in juniors.
It would be cool to see him make the jump to the NCAA, just because, like you said, he put up the dominant numbers already. We know he can do it at juniors. So take another step. Even if you can't go to the AHL, even if you don't make the big club, take another step in your development, challenge yourself again, NCAA. But we'll see how it works out.
And I guess the big concern that everybody's going to think of is like, oh God, what if you get into a debate with him over this? You tell him to go back to college, and then you rub him the wrong way, like you did with Cutter Gauthier. You would just hope that they can avoid that disaster scenario.
You just can't live in this fear in this world where, okay, so every 18-year-old has to make the team now. Like, so we can never send anyone anywhere. Like, I'm sorry you're not good enough, but you're not, and hopefully he is. Nothing would make me happier than to see Bump and Martone on opening night. But I trust Charlie's eye. If he says, I don't see a guy who's ready, or at least a guy who's going to have to be so much better 2 months from now to make this team, how much better is he going to get in 2 months? We'll see.
I was hoping to be blown away by him. Instead, I was just impressed.
Yeah. I will say that, like, it does make sense from, the junior, from the OHL playoffs to like U18s to the combine to then everything you got to do for the draft and then flying in. There is a world where it's, man, these dudes are tired. Like there is a world where that happens. But, that's an elite player supposedly. So you kind of have to judge it from that eye too.
And getting him signed to a contract would completely avoid any of those concerns.
Yeah.
So I get why people who are still skittish because of the Cutter Gauthier thing are like, nah, just give him whatever he wants so we don't lose him. He's awesome.
You're not losing. You can't live in fear like that. All right, let's hit Jack Nesbitt, the most controversial of the, really the only controversial pick, I would say. Some people just kind of preferred Hagen's, but it was like, chocolate or vanilla, one of those situations. Nesbitt was the one that people went, really? It seems like, I just based on what I've read, like I'm coming around on the pick more so than like on draft day when I didn't know. Really? I thought they could get him at 22. They traded up to 12? But it seems as if other people have different opinions. What was yours of Jack at development camp?
Well, the skating isn't good, and that jumped over the first few days of camp, especially when they were mostly doing drills and not really game stuff.
Yeah.
But I will say that once the games started, he looked a lot better. And he scores the game-winning goal in the 5-on-5 scrimmage. Actually scored 2 goals in the 5-on-5 scrimmage. That the game winner was in overtime, so that was really 3-on-3. But really nice goal. I think Jordan Hall has it up on his Twitter, so if you want to see it, he took a good video. I did not get a video of the game winner. But the skill is real. He's got real talent. Like, that's real. The puck skills, especially in close. He has good hands around the net. I like the compete level. He battles. He's a gamer. You know, he's battling in the corner. He's fighting back. He's fighting in front of the net. And I like the smarts. And this isn't the best video in the world because it's not. This was at the 5-on-5, but they were always attacking the far side. So Nesbitt breaks up a play in the neutral zone, finds a guy, and then immediately goes to the slot to make himself available for a pass. Like, that's just good hockey IQ. That's good, solid hockey IQ. Number one, got the motor to break up a play, but then immediately finds the soft spot in the zone to make himself available for a pass. His hockey IQ is good, and I was impressed by a lot of things I saw from Nesbitt. I think he had a good camp.
When you see the size, obviously, you see the skill. You said, like, skill's real. As bad as I think the skating might be, his ability to play with the puck, very high.
Yeah.
Do you think he might just be a player who it's always ugly, but at the end of the day, you look up and go, he's a nice player?
Could be.
Like,
could be.
He'll look ugly. He's not a practice player because you're like, oh, yeah, like, what are drills? Mostly skating.
Mostly skating.
It's like, it's not going to look good. But then when the actual game begins, he has game speed, or he has the intelligence and the skill to make up for whatever he lacks. It sounds like everyone came away impressed with Nesbitt.
Yeah, he was good. And I think maybe expectations were a little bit lower because people were generally more down on the pick. I would say he exceeded expectations. The skating needs a lot of work, but let me put it this way. His other tools are good enough that even if the skating doesn't get a lot better, I think he'll be a solid enough bottom six center. And the tools are good enough where if the skating does get better, and they think it will just with more lower body strength and more time, he could be a second line center. That was my belief going into the draft. That remains my belief now. He was good at this camp. I liked what I saw from him.
All right, looks like we have 6 super chats, and we can always get to more of these tomorrow, but I want to hit at least this year's draft, guys.
Okay.
Jack Murtagh.
Okay. He was very impressive at this camp. The tools, he's a drills player because he's got the tools.
Okay.
He can fly. I want to show this video of him going through the neutral zone in the 3-on-3. You can just see the speed. You can see the burst. He's going to be the guy coming through the neutral zone with the puck right. Where is it? It's coming up. Right here. There he is. He's blasting through.
Oh, yeah.
He turns the corner. Boom. Gets the puck on net, and then Carson Dora puts it back in for a rebound goal. But that's speed. He can skate. I wouldn't say he's like a true burner, but he's a plus skater. He can move, and he can accelerate. He's a powerful skater.
You can see how the defenseman, like,
Yeah.
like, oh, he got up on me a lot faster than I expected him to.
Exactly.
You can see that happen right there.
And then the shooting, I think Bump was the best shooter at this camp, the best finisher. Murtagh very well might have been number 2. I wanted to show this one because number 1, it was the game-winning goal in the championship game of the 3-on-3, but also because I was watching this right next to Jim Jackson, and we got a little Jim Jackson summer call. So we're going to do this one with Sam. But that's a really good shot, but also it is a bad angle. Like, that is beating the goalie clean on a bad angle. The tools are there. Their tools are there with Murtagh. He's exciting. He's going to be a fun guy to watch. I see fun middle six winger all day with him.
It's we've been burned so many times. I'm like skeptical, but it feels like a lot of these second rounders are actually going to pay off for the first time in a long time. And listen, they also drafted like at the top of the second round, most of these players. So it's not as if, oh yeah, they drafted him 60th, you know? All right. And let's hit Shane Vansaghi before we get to super chats as well.
Okay.
Just because it's fun to say,
Sure.
But also another guy they drafted this year. I think people are excited about.
All right. I posted this clip on Twitter, got a lot of play, understandably so, but I wanted to show it on this,
we
show
have to.
because, oh man, this was good. You're talking physical. All right, check this out. Yep.
He just tossed him. I was like expecting.
This is a camp invite.
Yeah.
He's not very big, but the fact that this camp invite thought it was a good idea without a stick to try to engage Vansaghi, and Vansaghi's just like, nah, dude, like, I'm reverse hitting you.
I thought it was going to be
blew
like,
him up.
I thought it was going to be just like a body check, but he was just like, get out of here. And like, that's like wrestling with my 7-year-old like nephew, like just shoving him and he goes fly. That is so freaking funny.
Riley Armstrong called him Truck. That was his nickname for him.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Vansaghi was good in camp. He was actually in the 5-on-5 scrimmage. He was on a line with Bump and Cole Knuble. We can get into Cole Knuble tomorrow because he was one of the pleasant surprises at camp. He looked really good. He centered the line. Bump was on left. Vansaghi was on right. Vansaghi looked really good in the cycle game. And I do have this video of him on the cycle. And so there's Vansaghi. It gets further in is where you're just seeing him just winning some races, keeping pucks. Like, there we go. Like, wins a race here. You know, then he's got a guy on him. Nice little pass there to Knuble. You know, then he pops back in again in a few right here. He wins that battle, keeps the puck alive, gets it over to Bump. Just little plays like that where you watch, and then there he goes right to the net front, trying to deflect a puck, a shot from the point. Like, it just seems like he knows what to do on the cycle. The hockey IQ, some people knocked him for it. I think it's higher than a lot of scouts thought, because I think he knows exactly what he is. He is a cycle power forward type guy who's going to be a wrecking ball on the ice, but is also going to help out his line mates. You saw that in the 5-on-5. That line was by far the best line of any team, of either of the two teams. And Vansaghi was a not insignificant part of that line. I like Vansaghi this camp. The puck handling needs to improve. The skating is a bit ugly to watch, even though I don't know if I would consider him to be slow. But I saw a lot I like from Vansaghi this camp.
Listen, it's not as if it's probably going to be a help to this team this year, but turning them into a team that can win on the forecheck by keeping pucks alive, getting the cycle going, second and third opportunities.
And that was a big weak point for them this year.
Yeah, it killed them. They were a one-and-done team on offense this year. It's going to be a multi-year thing, and you're going to need different styles of players to do it. You're going to need that variety of players, as we have talked about. He certainly can fill a role for this team somewhere down the line, I would think.
Absolutely.
All right, let's hit the Super Chats. A few of them today. I think we have 6. Let's go with JH, of course. I live in Philadelphia, and I have thoughts. What was this in reference to? I don't know.
Unclear, but sure. I'm glad you have thoughts, JH.
This might just be like a line from Always Sunny or something. All right, another one here from JH. A Charlie appreciation super chat. We very much appreciate the work Charlie does going to...
I'm very much in, like, almost over stress mode after working basically for 2 weeks straight.
It's stupid. Like, you get done that, and then I have to take over with the stupid stuff. And it's like, this is work, but it's also like we're watching a movie.
Right.
Like we're doing a mailbag or something. And it's like, it's two totally different things, but it is a handoff from one to the other. So I'm looking forward to it, honestly.
It'll be fun.
And but yeah, of course we need a Charlie appreciation super chat. All right, from
another one.
Mr. Twitzer, another super chat of appreciation for Mr. O'Connor. Listen, I call him the #1 Philly hockey beat writer for a reason. I need something to say, but also I happen to believe it is true. All right, from Gary B. Alex Pump looked like a solid player in the scrimmage. In honor of Bill, give me a hell yeah, let's go Flyers. Oh,
hell yeah.
Listen, man, the idea of Alex Pump making this team, hell yeah. Because
it's exciting.
One, like I've said, I want something new. I want the shiny new toy.
You do.
I'm excited about freaking Christian Dvorak. That's where I am with this team. I just want to see something new. And Alex Bump is not only new, but perhaps a new core piece. Perhaps someone who's going to be a part of the next great Flyers team.
Maybe.
I'm looking forward to seeing
We
him.
shall see.
All right. From Zach Anderson.
I love Bump's swagger, his comments about wanting to put meaningful games in the AHL, and also his comments last year saying their D didn't want to play the hard game, chef's kiss. So funny about that. I did talk to Alex Bump about those comments. in my one-on-one. You'll have to wait for the full the full article when I put it out later this summer. But let's just say that I don't know if he's going to be making comments like that ever, in the future.
Let's throw it to overtime before we get to the final super chat. Go to allphly.com for more of the show. As another super chat comes in.
Of course. We're going to get this done by 60.
We're getting there. We're getting there. But yeah, bumps. I love bump swagger. It's just another thing that makes them exciting. From DA Flyers, man. I was kidding about the goalie thing. Please don't hate me, Charlie. You're my boy Blue.
It was just annoying to see people on Twitter because I had to be on Twitter all weekend because that's where I had to post all these things and just have people like every time you post like a goal being scored, it's like, yeah, well, who was the goalie? Like, shut up.
From Obi-Wan, let's see.
They're not NHL goalies.
Obi-Wan just says, hey, what's up, Obi?
What's up, Obi?
And JH throws in another one. Now they're just coming in because they know we want to wrap up before the hour.
Clearly.
JH, starting movies tomorrow, Bill. I think next Tuesday is when it starts.
I am not ready to watch
it. I'm thinking next Tuesday. But, like, listen, if they make a trade or something, who knows? But I think we'll be through everything after this week.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. And Chris McKee. Is Dorwart in the AHL this season?
Well, I mean, I think the Dvorak signing makes it more likely. He was fine at camp. Solid in terms of puck protection. He looked like an older player, to be sure, but I don't think he was so good where I came out of camp thinking, man, he's definitely on this team. He'll be in the mix at camp. Yeah. And if he earns a job, he'll play. And if he doesn't, which I think is more likely, he'll start out the season in the AHL.
All right, here, and Linden49 jumps in, says, the dog days of summer are here. Thanks, guys. Time to chill. Yeah, man. Listen, we come to you every day, but that is all the time we have for you today. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, you got to hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on YouTube. Make sure you set that notification bell so you know whenever we go live. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. Give us more likes. 229, decent, but not great. You can do better. More likes. All right, that's it for us. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers. Follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. I'm Bill Matz. That's Charlie O'Connor. Till tomorrow, be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.